You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
When I say who are we, you say Saints. When I say are we ready, you say who? Who we say? Who we say? Who we ready? Who we ready? Who we say? Who we say? Who we ready? Who we ready? This is New Orleans. Let's go, baby. Let's ride. We don't play what you do.
You're listening to the Sport Coma, your number one podcast on everything Saints and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and her guys.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and you're listening to podcast 415 on the Sports Coma, the Saints' final day of the 2019 training camp, man. It's been a journey, hasn't it? For those who don't know, I'd like to first thank you to both the new and established family listening to the show for the first time, and those who've listened to it for the umpteenth time. Welcome aboard. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you don't know, we are the number one independent Saints podcast in the land. True diehards covering our beloved black and gold. And we like to welcome all of those new to the podcast and ask you to join our illustrious, beautiful, and very loyal diehard fan base. So join us by hitting the subscribe button, hitting the bell for notification for future content, as well as the like button to attract more beautiful Saints family like yourself. Podcast 415 is underway. This is day 28 recap, the final day of training camp. Of course, the Saints still have 2 preseason games to finish off. The upcoming matchup against the Jets on the 24th, and then on the 29th of next week, they have a home game for the preseason finale against the Miami Dolphins. But the Saints, between now with the end of camp officially over with, between the next week, the Saints have to get the roster down to 53. So we'll start seeing some things happen between now and then. So we just happen to join, just be here to cover it with your family. Also, we'll talk about that today. We'll have interviews from Coach Payton, Taysom Hill, Mike Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Marshon Lattimore. Just a full slate of some of the best and brightest from the black and gold team. And, of course, we'll have a little insight on some things dealing with, since the camp is over with, we'll talk about who's our camp MVPs. Who's your camp MVP for that matter? You know, and I got the idea from Rod Walker from the Times-Picayune. Big ups to the brother. Really good articles that he's been putting out covering the black and gold. Much respect. He had a great idea to do a camp MVP, most improved player, best drafted rookie, best undrafted rookie, kind of borrowing that really good idea and kind of putting our little spin on it, and doing best underdog and who's the biggest disappointment of camp. We'll do all that today on this show on the Sports Coma. So without any more interruptions, well, just one more interruption before we get into it. The Sports Coma is doing its first annual Sports Coma Fantasy League. There are 19 spots available. Just letting the family know about that. We spoke about it on our live stream show, which it's every Saturday at 12 o'clock Central Time on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe so you can watch it and participate in the live chat and live call-ins as well. We decided to do a Sports Coma Fantasy League. And toward the end of the show, we'll give you all information. 19 spots are available to participate in the league. The winner of the league gets $150 at the end of the year once it's all said and done, and the runner-up gets $50. So nice cash prize for the fantasy league. If you're interested in it, stay tuned to the show, and only 19 spots are available. So, we'll see. Now getting into the show, the final day of camp is here. Big ups to the Saints. A lot of stuff has went on in it. Now, as they wrap up today's practice, they returned to full pads and focused on situational work between indoors and outdoors. While indoors, the Saints, they did numerous one-on-one drills featuring the receivers against the DBs, running backs and tight ends against linebackers and safeties, and an O-line against the D-line. Now, the team moved outdoors for the remaining hour. The Saints then went to special teams drills and full team drills. Now, Coach Payton will play him momentarily. Now, he spoke about situational-based practices, but he don't say situational. He says situation. I just want to ask Coach Payton, what is situational? Coach Payton always says situational, and nobody questions him on that. We know what he means, but it's just funny to hear he said it's not situation, it's situation. I love it. But anyway, he based his practices on realistic repetitions. The teams continue to have competitive practices in the weeks leading to the start of the regular season. And Coach Payton was quoted as saying, look, it's been competitive. It's a little warmer than yesterday, but I thought they handled it pretty well. He also said that there's so much that you need to work at. There's so many different situations that you have to cover. You're trying to prepare for everything, and yet we're also trying to prepare them to think the way you think relative to timeouts, where you're at on the field and how you're to play the game. Now, Coach Payton said some other things, but when we play his interview, we'll let you hear it for yourself. Now, as far as participation, who was there? Latavius Murray, Sammy Cobbs Jr., offensive lineman Marshall Newhouse, Alex Anzalone, Craig Robinson, Marcus Shrells, Saquon Hampton, Mario Edwards were not observed on the indoor field during stretching and the conditioning portion of practice. Ted Ginn Jr. did return to practice after missing a few days. A little information on Eric McCoy as he continues the lineup on the 11-on drill since July the 30th of this year. He's been working with the first team. I've been said that about Eric McCoy. I said as soon as this guy practice with the first team, he's gonna be there for the next 10 years. He's gonna make you forget about Max Unger. He's gonna make you forget. That's how good this guy will be. And I even said that in 3 years, Eric McCoy will be a Pro Bowler. That's how good this guy is. 10-year starting center for you and a Pro Bowler within the next 3 seasons. Bet on it. Now, he started the first couple of preseason games. He wouldn't be a surprise to see him trot out with the ones in the third preseason. The Saints want to get him as many reps as they possibly can. Now, the Saints have opened camp with a 3-way battle with McCoy, Cameron Tom, and Nick Eason. We knew Nick Eason was not going to be the center when Eric McCoy was then drafted after the free agent period. When the Saints moved up and snatched him, we knew Nick Eason wasn't going to be a center. Cameron Tom is a way better center than Nick Easton anyway, but it's been all McCoy, and it's going to be all McCoy for the next 10 years. A little information going into our DB side of thing with the one-on-one drills between receivers and cornerbacks as often in favor of the offensive players, so it's wise not to get too caught up when a receiver beats the defensive back. Something entirely different when the cornerback shines through the drill when he's given an advantage. Now, Eli Apple had yet another attention-grabbing moment when he was locked up with Traquan Smith, threw the ball down in the field in a one-on-one drill. Smith lined up on the right side of the field and attempted to double move on the line of scrimmage to get down the field, but Eli didn't bite. He stayed with him, heaped the ball down to Smith, and Apple just jumped up and batted it away. And, of course, a lot of the cornerbacks and players said, get that out of here. So it's a lot going on in camp, the final day of camp. And before we finish up our breakdown, we start talking about the defense. Let's listen to what Coach Payton had to say about today's camp.
That hotel meeting, and much like in prior years, we'll move to a different schedule now.
Sean, with this segment of work on the field, are you pleased with what you've seen so far, the progression?
Yeah. Look, it's been competitive. A little warmer today than yesterday. I thought they handled it pretty well. And, there's so much that you need work at. And there's so many different situations you have to cover. And you're trying to prepare for everything, and yet you're also trying to prepare them to think the way you think relative to timeouts, where you're at on the field, and how you have to play a game.
It seems like the ball was on the ground a lot today, or am I wrong, or was it maybe not the most crisp offensive?
Yeah, I'd say defensively it looked a little sharper than the offense today.
Coach, obviously, at the beginning of camp, you had mentioned a 3-way battle at center. Now that training camp is in the books, your evaluation of Eric McCoy, and how safe is it to say he's the starter?
Yeah, we're not announcing the starting lineups right yet. Eric's been doing well. He's taking a lot of the reps with the ones. We're pleased with how he's progressing, and we'll continue to look at not only him but the other guys working there.
Sean, is there a situation, whether the Jets game or Dolphins game, that Taysom could get reps with the ones?
Yeah, I don't know that that'll take place in this game. No, it probably won't take place in this game.
Okay. Sean, will you stay at 90 till the end, or might you make a few cuts after this game to make it more manageable?
Normally we'd stay at 90. That's not to say that we wouldn't switch out some spots possibly or make some moves. Obviously when it comes to that final weekend, there's a lot of transactions. You're paying attention to your own roster, but you're also paying attention to the 31 other teams.
How much do you like the way they do it now compared to 90 to 75, and now it's just 90?
Well, look, I think it helps when you get into preseason week 4.
Is there anything about this training camp that will stick with you later, or is it just sort of all of?
No, I mean, look, you're building a foundation in training camp with this team, and so hopefully there's a number of things that stick with all of us, whether it's lessons learned or positive experiences. But yeah, I think that you go through the process, you repeat certain things, and you're working on their technique. I mean, when a player gets tired and he's in week 6 or 7 of the season, and there's a point at which he's got to rely on his technique that he's gotten comfortable with.
Sean,
that's Coach Payton, y'all, talking about situational football. And that's interesting because the coach, gave a lot of good insight when the reporter asked about how it used to be, where, you would break it down right in the third, getting ready for the third game or right after the third game of preseason to 75, then from 75 to 90. But what it does do, it does give the coach and staff an extra opportunity to look at everybody, and they're not just quickly, forced to cut guys. They can get a little bit more, a little bit more of those guys going into the 4th week. So, it's extra, I guess you could say extra vision or extra looks or reps for those guys who they have questions in the back of their head about, I don't know, I need to see more of this guy or that guy. Now, let's get back into some of the defense breakdown dealing with Coach Payton's defense. And he, just like you heard him mention the practice, the defense looked better than offense, and it started with the excellent goal line workout during the 11 drills. The Saints defense, which featured the vaunted NASCAR front with Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, Trey Hendrickson, and David Onyemata, held Breeze and company out of the end zone. The key plays came on the pass breakup from Marshon Lattimore and P.J. Williams. Now, throughout the goal line stand, safety Von Bell was amped up and yelled out every play, "There we go." The second team offense led by Teddy B didn't fare any better against the second team defense during goal line work. So defense really stepped up. Now, rookie defensive end Porter Galston would have recorded a sack if the red jersey worn by Bridgewater didn't prevent the contact, and cornerback Ken Crawley prevented a potential touchdown pass with a diving pass breakup in the back of the end zone. So Ken Crawley trying to do a little something. Ken Crawley before you walk it, baby. He's trying to make it happen. He's trying to step up and make some plays. There's a lot of people saying, man, this guy got to get it together, or he could find himself playing for a different team or out of the NFL completely. Now, of course, we're going to talk about more about the defense clamping down in take 2. The Saints close out the team portion of outdoors practice with a hurry-up offense situation. Breeze connected with Mike Thomas early in the drive and got the offense around the 10-yard line to set up the first and goal with 16 seconds showing on the clock. Now, the first 3 passes fell incomplete. The defense celebrated, but Payton signaled the offense to go for it on 4th down. Lattimore, though, slammed the door shut with a pass breakup in the end zone, leading to a spirited celebration among his teammates. On the flip side, football game is full of swings. Now, the second teams go at it. Hurry-up offense provided that extra element. Caden Ellis almost came up with an interception off Bridgewater, but the ball bounced off Ellis' hands with the clock winding down, and the offense closed to the 10-yard line. Now, turnover obviously would have ended the offensive drive. It was a missed opportunity when considered on the next play, because then Bridgewater took the snap, quickly surveyed the field, then fired a dart to Austin Carr, who came up with the end zone for the touchdown with 1 second showing on the clock. And, of course, the play of the day goes to C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's been really versatile, and he's played safety and nickelback throughout training camp, and he put a kind of exclamation mark on his ability to make plays on the 11-on drills. Wide receiver Austin Carr appeared open in the flat on the left side of the field. Breeze threw the ball to him, but Gardner Johnson made a perfect break on the football to rapidly close the distance. Now, then he dove fully extended now, arrived just as the ball did. He got his arms around it and appeared to make the interception while in the air, but he couldn't secure the ball when he hit the ground. So that was still a remarkable play by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I keep telling you, this kid is just out of phase, just a second or two. He's a rookie, has great instincts. This guy is going to be really special for the Saints team, as a lot of people know. Now, speaking of defense and pass rush as well, here's our guy, Mr. Hanging Earring, cross-hanging earring in his ear, Mr. Aaron Neville's earring-wearing guy, defensive pass rusher Marcus Davenport.
This training camp. I like it better than last year, but, you know, I'm critical, and so from there I just got to get better.
What are you most critical of?
Not winning. I want to win every play, and that's been the basis of this whole camp, defeat your block. Or if you are blocked, don't stay blocked. So that's why I want to do better.
What have you seen out of Trey? It's popped to us. You know, we don't get the benefit of film, but like, you know, it looks like he's been really disruptive this camp and the preseason.
Shoot, he's doing the same thing he's always been doing: kicking ass, taking naps. Don't know if I can say that, but yeah. He's consistently been great, and so that's really someone that I talk to and learn from when we shoot. We just talk about a lot. It's my dog.
Has it been fun being on the field with him and Cam and the St. Thomas and those three DN packages?
Oh yeah, that's always going to be something fun. It's different. Great way to change up the scenery for the offense.
Looks like you get to kind of navigate a little bit around in some of those and just kind of line up all over the place. Is that kind of? Is there anything to that?
Shoot, man, just part of the play.
Yeah.
Can't say much about it.
Yeah.
That's Marcus Davenport family. Marcus usually, he's kind of corny, but still in all, you get some good information from him, man. Every now and again, but kind of cliche-ish, if you know what I mean. But anyway, man, that's fantastic, though. But it's this keep push. I know Trey Hendrickson has been playing well over the last 2 weeks. But come on, man. Stop pushing this Trey Hendrickson thing. He looked pretty well in the second preseason game, but there's still 2 preseason games left. And a lot of question marks behind Trey Hendrickson is, could he stay healthy? I know he has the skill and talent, but can he consistently play throughout the season and contribute? That's something that the man hasn't done yet. And until he do, knock it off with all this stuff about pushing Trey Hendrickson in our face, man. Come on. But anyway, before we hit the break, we'll come back. I'll give you a little breakdown on it. We have Marshon Lattimore, Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas, all on the other side of the break. We have some more information about the Fantasy League as well, so y'all stay tuned. You listen to the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys.
If you haven't heard the Sports Coma, this is what you're missing. Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home-delivered, restaurant-quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50-plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commitment. Welcome to the one-shop gourmet food delivery, specialized affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from HomeBistro.com? Restaurant quality, made with natural ingredients, delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering, and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with HomeBistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with HomeBistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top-flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and review coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and review coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Perfect. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Sports Coma. Welcome back, family. We rocking, man. I'll tell you one thing. You listen to podcast 415, recapping the final day of Saints camp. That's right, the final day. We still have 2 preseason games remaining to break the roster all the way down from 90 to 53. So Coach Payton's and the staff's going to take the opportunity, the time to kind of figure out what they're going to do. But it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man, as we get closer and closer to the regular season where the games actually count for something. That's meaningful, very meaningful. But anyway, on this side of the break, we're going to finish up with our interviews and ultimately get into the MVP of the training camp. I'll give you mines. Y'all give me yours in the comment section. We'll go over some of the names you get during the live stream when we go Saturday at 12 noon. So please join us on our YouTube page. The link's in the description section. If you don't know what our YouTube page is, the PRO is abbreviated P.R.O.Media Network on YouTube. Or simply put in the Sports Coma. It'll pull it up and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and the like button and all that good stuff. You'll get that content. And you can be a part of a lot of great things the Sports Coma has got going on. This new Sports Coma Fantasy League. We got 19 spots available. I'll give you more information about that toward the end of the show. We also have for the next 4 months, from September to December, we'll be giving away consoles. That's right, PS4 consoles and the Madden 20 game. Those are separate, by the way. So you have an opportunity to win one or the other, and that'll be happening. Don't you guys want to be a part of that? We give you more information on that coming up next week, but you got to hit the notification bell and get in and subscribe to the show to get more of that information. It's so very simple. So without further ado, let's get right back into the rest of it. Day 28, the final day of Saints training camp. A lot of people are ecstatic. One of the best defensive back we have on this team, he was ecstatic as well. So let's go right into Lattimore's comments on camp and the rest of things.
I mean, we still had to practice and everything and get better or whatever, but just knowing we out of camp, it's just a relief. We've been here since a month now, just practicing and just being in the hotel, man. I just want to be at home in my own bed and just relaxing, But it's just a relief, really.
Is that the biggest difference for you, just getting to go home?
Just mentally, yeah. It's a mental thing.
Marshon, what do you thought about Barnes? You feel like he's really taking a step in this training camp. What do you say to him?
Man, I've been seeing that since Ohio State.
I mean, he had to split time the whole time he was here, and now he got a chance to show what he can do, you know, on an every down basis. So, you know, I'm ready for it. I've been to what he can do. You know, I've been told since I got here, you know, he was one of the best players I've seen, you know, in person on the defensive side when I was in college. So I know what he can do. You know, I'm ready for it. I want everybody else to see what I see.
So, I remember, you know, you were always very accountable and hard on yourself after some games.
So the schedule can change a little bit, but
especially early in the year. In the big scheme of things, how do you think going through
the
that will help you
can
going
change
into this year?
a little bit, but
I feel like you took a lot away from that in terms of your learning curve, your acceleration as a player.
back when you were on a two-a-day schedule,
Just mentally, you got to know, you know, you're not going to win.
a real good question.
And you got to be tough enough and have that mindset that, you know, you can fall down but you get back up, you know, get right back up. So it's like, you know, it's a learning experience, but, you know, I've been through worse. You know, so I'm not really worried about it. You know, some people didn't even think I was going to be here because of my hamstrings and whatever, but, you know, I'm doing what I do, and I'm not really worried about it like that. You know, I've been through worse, you know, and I know how to get back up, so I'm not worried about it. Of course, I learned from it, and just know, like, everything not going to be great, you know, all the time, but, you know, I'm ready for whatever, you know, whatever challenge, I'm going to step up to it.
Marshon Lattimore, man, for whatever challenge that he's ready for, he's ready to step up and get it done. And that's really interesting, man. Marshon Lattimore, really one of the great young defensive backs we have. That part of that solid foundation of special players the Saints have, along with Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas, to take this team well into the future winning. And it's just really special to hear his thoughts getting ready to lead camp. Anyway, let's get into some more guys. Two really excellent players and future Saints Hall of Famers, among other things. Here's two guys interviewing together, Alvin Kamara and Mike Thomas, talking about
preseason games.
But camp's over, though, right?
I don't know. I've never had training camp anywhere else being in the NFL, so I'm pretty much like, yeah, this is it.
Alvin, having done this a few years now and knowing what to expect, has this gotten easier process?
As far as training camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say easier, but it's more. I think it's not as much pressure. I would say. I think it's always pressure to get better and, you know, to be back with the guys and want to progress fast. But I wouldn't say it's as nerve-wracking. Like, you know, as your rookie year, you come in camp, you don't know what to expect. It's more of I know what to expect now. It's just now I can really focus on the things I need to do to get better.
Mike and Alvin, when you look at a team like the Jets and Greg Williams, they really got after and they blitzed the Falcons. Have you all looked at the film and maybe side adjust and all to be prepared for that, even though it is a preseason game?
For sure. We went against Greg last year, week 1, when he was at Cleveland. We have a lot of film on him, and our coaches got us prepared.
What are some of the maybe measurable benefits that you guys get out of being in a game with Drew in a preseason game, even if it's a short amount of work? Because he hasn't worked with you guys in a game yet this preseason.
I mean, anytime we have Drew in the huddle, I think it's like a game situation. It's like it's a preseason game, but we play it like a real game. So it's like Mike said earlier, it's a good time to work on our tempo, get our timing down. Just work on the smaller things that, you know, we might not get out of going against DeMario and Cam every day. You know, we're going against another team, so it's just an opportunity to see where we're at. Not only see where we're at, but get better.
Mike, when you have a training camp here, when it's slightly warm, how much value is it to get to like Los Angeles and get a few days with a different climate? Is that a big thing, or would you be okay if you didn't?
It serves a lot of benefits, you know, just going out there. It's a lot easier to breathe, of course, just from the humidity. But I feel like that's one of the things we have to our advantage. Come out here and compete, go hard all day in this heat and uncomfortable situations, and then we're able to go against other teams that may have not had those same uncomfortable situations where they had to respond and make plays and move the ball up and down the field at their own will. So I feel like us coming back here and just having practice in New Orleans is always going to serve benefits for us all year long.
Given the way last season...
That's Mike Thomas and Alvin Kamara family chiming in. Sorry about the low audio. When Mike got up to it, they got too far. I guess they were too far off of Mike. But anyway, that's Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas, and Marshon Lattimore. Three Pro Bowlers with a trifecta. But this is the interesting thing about it is the guys are happy. They're quite elated to be out of camp, and I would be quite elated to be out of camp too. Go home, kind of get refreshed. 2 preseason games left to play. Of course, some of our big studs, our big guns probably won't play that many minutes in these upcoming 2 games because obviously Coach Payton wants to take a look at some of these undrafted guys and a few other guys that's on the team ultimately before some of these guys end up being put on the street. So this is not too many spots open, left. But of course, that the Saints are going to try to fill a practice squad with majority of some of these players. If not all of them, maybe they'll leave a few slots open to see who might fall their way coming up. But interesting nonetheless. Now, before we get into our final interview with Taysom Hill, I want to go down over some information, dealing with, like we said, big ups to Ryan Walker from the Times-Picayune, who had a brilliant idea to do a MVP, most improved player, a best drafted, best undrafted, stuff like that. Then I said, I'm going to throw underdog and overrated person on there as well. And I want you guys, I want to get a little interaction from the Saints family, the black and gold, the diehards out there. What do they think about, with camp ending up? Of course, the preseason games are still underway, but from this point going back to when camp started, who are your camp MVPs? Now, I'm going to name mine, and then after we do lay this down, and we can go into Taysom Hill's interview and go from there, because this is real interesting. I think you guys will find mine's pretty interesting. Okay, starting with the camp MVP. I have a defensive player right here. Most of you guys are probably not going to agree with me on this. Some of you will, but I got my camp MVP is Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis has been spectacular from the majority of the time. He's led the entire defense. I think he was second in terms of overall snaps being in games playing. He was lined up with special, playing first with the first unit, calling plays, his speed, his versatility, his intelligence. He has that NFL lineage with his father, Big Luther. And I ain't talking about, I'm not talking about Luther Vandross, Luther Ellis, who was a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Detroit Lions, the big defensive tackles we used to tangle with back in the G. But that's something, man, that's really interesting about Caden. He is something special. One of those 2 7-round draft picks the Saints picked up this year. Caden Ellis is my MVP. Now, of course, behind him is Taysom Hill running up and all that kind of stuff, and I won't get into the run-ups. I'm just going to name them straight up. Most improved player. Now, you guys know, like I know, that you probably have a most improved player like I have, but I'm going to give it the most improved player to this guy, Justin Hardy. Big ups to Justin Hardy. A lot of people not talking about Justin Hardy. I'm going to talk about Justin Hardy. Big ups to Justin Hardy. He's been playing really special ball lately, showing his skills. Now, remember, last year, I think it was, Justin Hardy was taken under the wing by Marshon Lattimore, and he was a former wide receiver who then wasn't very good, just mostly a special teams player, but you can see him becoming a better defensive back throughout camp into the preseason games. It carried on. He is being actually what P.J. Williams and Kent Crawley is supposed to be. I see development in Justin Hardy. Big ups to Justin Hardy. Is my most improved player. Best drafted player since camp start, no doubt about it. This is an easy one. I'm going to give it to Eric McCoy. There is no doubt about it in my mind that Eric McCoy is clearly the best drafted guy of camp. Since he's gotten there in July the 30th, since he's gotten to camp, he started with the first teams ever since, and he has not checked out. He will not check out. He will man that position for the next 10 years, like I said. So Eric McCoy, that's the easy one. Best undrafted guy that was showing in camp. Well, I mean, this one was a little bit more difficult, but remember, this is undrafted, and I have to give it to the defensive lineman, Taylor Stallworth. That's right. Taylor Stallworth has been playing really well in camp, not really getting a lot of accolades. The media all on Trey Hendrickson, Jock, but they're not talking about Taylor Stallworth tearing it up in camp. He also, when he get in those first 2 games against Minnesota, he was constantly in the backfield, and against the Chargers, he was doing some damage too. So Taylor Stallworth is my best undrafted guy through camp. Underdog, best underdog so far in camp. You guys will probably pick yours. I got mine. Some people say Deontay Harris, and I wouldn't be mad at you if you said Deontay Harris is an underdog. I can rock with you, but I'm gonna give it to Austin Carr. Nobody's giving Austin Carr any credit. Nobody's giving Austin Carr any respect. But Austin Carr caught a touchdown against the Chargers. He caught he caught touchdowns recently throughout this week, and he's consistently showing up. He has a great attitude, really smart guy, doing his best to make the team, trying to do everything he can. More sure-handed than Emmanuel Butler, more sure-handed than Sammy Cobbs Jr. We've talked about all those other big wide receivers, but yet Austin Carr is the one catching the ball and catching touchdowns in the game and in practice. So he is my underdog. An overrated player. Now, if you know me, what I'm going to say, but maybe you don't know me, what I'm going to say. You think I'm going to say that guy who I just talked about, but I'm not going to say that defensive lineman who the media keeps jockeying and keep pushing him like he's supposed to be somebody. That guy got to show me something. But he's not overrated, in my opinion. I would have to say that goes to Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater has played better the last week and then maybe the last 7 to 10 days. In the first preseason matchup against the Vikings, he played really well. In that game, this game, he had the flu. Prior to that, he had a few practices where he started to look like he knew what he was doing. Prior to that, to me, I was watching him. He doesn't look like Teddy Bridgewater from Minnesota. It might be a mental block there somewhere. I don't know. But to me, he is the most overrated player on this roster. Now, you guys pick and choose who you got. I want you to put in the comment section, who's your MVP? Who's your most improved player? Who's your best drafted player? Who's your best undrafted player? Who's your underdog and your overrated? Do you get me? MVP, most improved, best drafted, best undrafted, underdog, and overrated player. Let me know. I'll read your comments on our live stream Saturday at 12 o'clock Central on the Sports Coma live stream show, live chat, live call in, the whole shebang bang. Now, before we kind of dirk out here, I want to play Taysom Hill, his thoughts, and of course the Steve Young comparisons they talk about with Taysom Hill. Then after that, I'm gonna give you some fantasy news. Here's Taysom.
Taysom, looking at the quarterback challenge, 6 weeks to get this car. Is it a case like in point that rich get richer? Drew ended up winning that one?
Well, I think we struck a deal with Drew. Said, Mercedes is going to want Drew to win this car, so we kind of took it easy on him this time, just for the sake of the sponsorship.
Is this the most number of training camp interviews you've ever done? It seems like you're here every other day.
I don't know. Probably since I've been in New Orleans for sure. Yeah.
Are you excited? I know last year, it was 2017, it was special teams. Last year there were new wrinkles in the offense. For new wrinkles that could include you this year, whatever Sean decides to draw up, is that an exciting proposition for you to be utilized in a way?
Yeah, I think, for the last month or however long we've been in training camp, the mindset has been progressing as a quarterback, making sure that I can, really trying to catch to where Drew is at and be able to function at a high level that way. And as we start to near the end of camp, my mindset starts to shift to making sure that I can take care of all the responsibilities that I'll be asked to do this season. And, as we get closer, I start to think about it. And it's certainly exciting. I think a lot of the excitement just comes from knowing that we're getting ready to start another season, which is really exciting.
As far as Sean, I know he made the Steve Young comments. I'm sure you heard those comments. Are you humbled by that when you hear that? Do you think that sounds right? Or, just your thoughts when you hear a coach compare you to one of the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously, I know Steve. Steve's been a good mentor to me, and through BYU and in the NFL and stuff, and obviously look up to Steve, the way that he played the game and everything else. So yeah, it's humbling to hear a comparison that way. I think at the end of the day, you just got to make sure that you can continue to be as good as you possibly can. But certainly a guy that I look up to and admire, and would be a guy that I would say, yeah, I try to mimic, my play after him.
You feel like
that's real interesting, isn't it, family? I forgot all about that. I forgot about the fact that he, I knew he went to BYU, but I forgot Steve Young. Steve Young had a relationship, a connection with Taysom Hill. I forgot all about that. So, I mean, maybe, and the fact that he just mentioned that he mentored him. I knew he knew him. I didn't know how the relationship was in terms of he was actually teaching him the game or whatnot. But what a hell of a mentor that is. to be under Drew Brees on the team and then get mentored by Steve Young. I mean, these are 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, with that kind of, instruction, Taysom Hill could be possibly put in the right situation where we can be able to take this thing to another level, because the Saints are a powerful team, man. We should dominate, and there's no other situation in the whole world that should stop us from reaching where we need to be. We are a Super Bowl team, and we will not allow any other situation to beat us in this way. So I'm just really proud of my team and really excellent. Anyway, let's get into some of the fantasy news. Family, listen, the Sports Coma Fantasy League is now in full effect through the NFL.com. Okay, this is through the NFL.com. And it's 19 spots first come, first serve. So all of the Sports Coma family, the black and gold family who wants to get in the fantasy league, remember, it's a fantasy league with a little prize toward the end. I mean, but we'll see how that goes. But the fantasy league number is 792-4300. That's the league ID number. Remember, it's through the NFL.com. League number is, get you a pen and paper right now, family, and get this down, because I can't go over that much. We're about to get out, but we're looking at it. The league ID number 792-4300 for the league number in the NFL.com. Remember, NFL.com, league ID number 792-4300. You put that in there. And, of course, the password to join is WhoDat2019. That's WhoDat, lower caps, 2019. So you put that in NFL.com during the fantasy section of it, in the first 19 people to sign up. I only have 19 slots. So I'm in the fantasy league. So the family can join. We can play against each other. And the draft will be, let's see, next. Let's see. Let me make sure I get this straight here. When the draft will be here. I know it's going to be not this. It'll be next weekend. Yes. Yep. See, that's how you know when you be doing a lot. Well, yes, sir. The draft will be next weekend, next Saturday at 7:00. That's right, Saturday at 7:00. We just be looking out. We might change the time depending on our scheduling, but just pay attention to it and get the information from the app, or pay attention to the Sports Coma, and we'll get you all that information. But it's set up for next Saturday at 7:00. It might change to next Sunday at 7:00. So to deal with the Saints game, we'll have a post game, a pregame for the Saints matchup against the Jets. So we'll just see how that goes. So it's not this upcoming weekend; it's next weekend. So we'll figure it out, and of course we'll let you know. So this is the end of camp, family. This is the final day of camp. Camp 28 is camp day 28. It's over with. How do you feel about that? 2 preseason games remaining. One really close coming up here against the Jets. They're going to New York to take them on. They come home against the Miami Dolphins. We'll see a lot of guys that's sitting on the back iron. Who do you want to see? Who's some of the guys that you want to see the most of? I mean, to be quite honest with you, a lot of the Saints guys that they have that's really behind the bubble, that's really behind them. Which one, that's the interesting part. Do you think P.J. Williams or Ken Crawley will make it? Do you think those guys actually make it? We know some of the other guys might not make it, like some of the defensive linemen, like Porter Galston, perhaps, who actually looked decent the last few practices. He might not make it. Carbon Kaufusi might not make it. Shai Tuttle might not make it. There's a lot of guys that possibly won't make the active roster, but might have a spot on the special teams. I mean, the practice squad as well. But who do you think? Who do you guys like? There's not too many slots opened up. It's not too many spots opened up. But who do you guys think? Do you think P.J. Williams wore his jersey with the Saints, and Ken Crawley has worn out his welcome? Is that over with? Will Chris Banjo, special teams, speak higher than his lackadaisical and ridiculous play as a safety on the field? I mean, will that, stand forth? Will the Saints keep their aces, special team aces, or go more in the young route? Who will win the battle at the third running back position? Is that Devine Ezigbo or Dwayne Washington, or both guys get on the team? Can you see the Saints keeping 4 running backs? With a fullback, 5 backs, could you see it? I could see it. Who is your third, fourth, and fifth wide receiver? obviously Traquan Smith is going to be amongst the mix between Mike Thomas and Ted Ginn Jr., but who do you have behind that? Do the Saints keep 5 or do they go 6? Is Deontay Harris obviously makes it as a special teams player? What happens to Marcus Shrells? Is Marcus Shrells going to make the team? He's facing a lot of injuries. Do the Saints hold on to him, or do they cut bait and run on him? And one of the other really great questions is the defensive line. Are you satisfied with the Saints pass rush? That's one of the things that we have to look at as well. Are we satisfied? Are the Saints satisfied with the pass rush? Is Trey Hendrickson the answer at the third pass rusher position? He's mixed in with the NASCAR package. He does have a mojo, but do we trust Trey Hendrickson to perform that duty? Can he stay healthy the entire season and perform up to the position that we need? He's been swallowed up in the past. Can he perform? Can Davenport stay healthy and contribute in a full season? These are some serious questions that need to be answered. And, of course, we're dealing with injuries. What's up with Alex Anzalone? What's up with Craig Robertson? You know, we have depth there with DeMario Davis and A.J. Klein. And, of course, Caden Ellis is there. You know, that's really interesting. Kayvon Webster is a question. Does Kayvon Webster stay or go? Do the Saints keep him? What about Patrick Robinson? Did Patrick Robinson do enough for the Saints to keep Patrick Robinson there, even though they were using Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the nickel position? I mean, there's some questions to be answered and some surprises to be thrown all around going into the final day of camp. 2 preseason games remaining and some cutting that's left to be done, family. So just beautiful, man. I really enjoying it at this point. It's really time for us to get the season going. We've got football, college football. We've got a lot of great college football coming up as well. And I'm going to take the time where we have a few minutes remaining in the podcast to talk about the Tough Tiger Talk. If you're an LSU fan, I'm a Saints fan, Pelican fan, and I'm an LSU man. So that's like a trifecta from the local area. Always been that way. We have a Tough Tiger Talk podcast season 2 that's getting ready to fire off. If you are interested in that and you're a Tiger fan, feel free to join the channel. Put in the YouTube search Tough Tiger Talk and subscribe today. Also, the Pelicans are coming up real soon, that as well. And we also have boxing that we do. The boxing shows hit you with boxing, Ring Kings Boxing World, talking about all the latest boxing events. Heavyweight champions, middleweights, all of that. We talk about it all on the boxing world. So that'll do it for the show. Thank you guys for joining us on the Sports Coma, the last day of training camp, podcast 415. Feel free to go to the description section below and check out our merchandise. Got the Chump Missioner shirt by Roger Goodell and other really stylish fashion that help out the platform and look stylish while you're doing it. I'm Big Q. Thank you for joining us. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast and customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.